The third element that we look at is this a business that actually requires a substantial investment capital? And by that, I mean, at least 100,000 or more. Because there are certain low-cost businesses, especially service businesses, consulting businesses, that simply doesn't require a lot of investment. Some businesses, consulting businesses, you rent an office, buy a few laptops, put up a website, and you're ready to go. But the nature of the E2 visa is that at its core, it's an investment visa, and the immigration official expects the applicant to actually invest a substantial amount of capital towards the U.S. business and contributing that substantial investment capital and spending into the U.S. economy. So ideally, we want a business that by its nature requires the applicant to spend a substantial portion of the money. So the money is not mostly just sitting as cash in a bank account, which is not going to be considered qualifying investment. They want to see the money put into the U.S. economy. On the other hand, we don't want the E2 applicant to just throw money away. That would be really wasteful. So if the business by its nature requires substantial capital spending, such as buying equipment or business supplies or buying inventory or building out an office space or business premise, a store, a warehouse, purchasing business vehicles. If the nature of the business model requires that kind of spending, then it becomes a whole lot easier and smoother to demonstrate a qualifying investment spending. But having said that, because we've done this for so many years and helped hundreds of clients in service, low-cost business, there are certainly a lot of creative strategies on demonstrating qualifying investment spending, even for a low-cost business. I'll give you some examples. Some of our clients, in low-cost service business have negotiated with the landlord to kind of prepay the rent for the next 12 months, for example, 6 months or 12 months or longer, kind of pack that in. The advance payment will count towards investment spending. And with that kind of investment spending, the E2 applicant may even be able to negotiate more favorable lease terms with the landlord, maybe lower rent, maybe an allowance for renovation, maybe an extra parking space. By prepaying that has the benefit of demonstrating more investment spending and probably allows the E2 applicant have more negotiating leverage for the lease agreement. Another example is some of our clients that have the type of business that require a lot of marketing, advertising, marketing. So they would engage marketing agencies or advertising venues like Google Ads or publications where the company will want to market and build their brand and get exposure. They would negotiate a prepayment of all those advertising and marketing expenses, whether directly to the vendor or creating an escrow account where they put in this money in escrow account, and escrow is structured as dedicated for that marketing expense. So by dedicating that amount of money into an escrow account or directly pay to the vendor in advance, even in advance where the marketing and advertising has not been deployed. Because sometimes we're planning for the E2 visa and the client decides that they don't want to start operation until they get the E2 visa because it's not feasible to start operations before then. And so paying marketing and advertising expenses wouldn't make sense if they generated leads. They can't, service the leads. They haven't started operating yet. But by creative solution, what I mean is they were able to negotiate prepayment of those expenses without the marketing or advertising being deployed yet. It's just a commitment to the vendor that I'm going to use your advertising service. I'm going to use your SEO or marketing services. But I'm going to wait until I get my E2 visa. But here's the money up front so I can help me demonstrate the qualifying investment spending. So there's a lot more, and it's what is a appropriate creative idea is very situational. Every business is different. So investment spending is important.